There was this judge who would always tell you, anyone who's going to Hajj, before you go away to Hajj, leave your deposit, your will with me. Because you know people, before they go Hajj, they normally write their will. So when they write their will, just in case something happens on the journey, you want to make sure that the will is executed and it goes to your children. This man came towards that judge and he said to him, "Oh judge, I'm going to Hajj." He said, "Very good. Have you written your will?" He said, "Yes, I have. On the will I've written that I leave 1,000 dinar for my children. And oh judge, whatever you want, give them. Whatever you want, give them." The judge said, "Very well." The man went on the journey. Unfortunately, the bad conditions led to his death. His children were very young at the time. A few years later, they had grown up. They had known that their father had left them a will. They went towards the judge. They said, "Oh judge, our father left us a will. It was 1,000 dinar. Can you give it to us?" "No problem. Here's 100 dinar. "Sorry? The dad left 1,000. He said, "Yes, your dad said whatever you want, you give. I want to give 100 dinar. There, go." He said, "What type of corrupt man is this?" They asked, "Who's the best person to solve this?" The people told them, "Go to behlool. He'll solve the issue for you." They said, "That madman?" He said, "Madman? Go listen to what his answer will be. He's a graduate from Ja'far al-Sadiq. Go listen to him." They came to behlool. "What's the issue?" They said, "Oh behlool, we were young children when our dad went to Hajj. He left behind 1,000 dinar in the will. He said to the man, the judge, he said to him, whatever you want, give them. This judge is saying, I only want to give you 100. Behlool said, leave it with me. Let's go and visit the judge. Behlool came towards the judge. He met the judge. He said, what's the situation here? He said, this is the will. Their father said, whatever you want, give them. Therefore, I've given them 100. Behlool looked at him and said, oh man, can I ask you a question? What is it that you want from the thousands? He said, I want 900. He said, then you have to give them 900. Because the father said, whatever you want, and I just concluded you wanted 900 out of 1,000, now give it to them. Can you imagine this man's looking, thinking, what is this madman? And by the end, he's got to give the 900 and he ran away. Behlool ran away, said, I'll see you later, you keep the 900. And the man was thinking, I just lost the 900 which was in my hand. On another occasion, he's sitting in Harun al-Rashid's court. Notice how Behlool is Harun al-Rashid's cousin. But he's able to get in there and disseminate Ahlul Bayt's knowledge. He's sitting down, Harun al-Rashid used to have lavish dinners. Behlool never liked to eat in these dinners. Even one day Harun al-Rashid was sitting with his guests, he told the soldiers, go give the remaining food to Behlool. So when they came, they were giving to Behlool. Behlool said, I don't want the caliph's food. They said, take. He said, no, I don't want his food. They said, but it's the caliph's food. He said, yes, be quiet, because if the dogs hear it, they might not even eat the food as well. This Behlool, one day he's sitting down in this lavish dinner. While he's sitting in this lavish dinner, do you know who Harun al-Rashid invited? The judge of Khurasan. The judge of Khurasan came with the Iranian pomp. He came and he sat down. They were all sitting. Behlool sitting next to him, jumping on his broomstick. So this man looking at him saying, what's this? Can't the guy sit still? I'm trying to eat a meal. Says, excuse me, who is this? I'm Behlool. He said, oh, the madman. He said, don't judge us by our appearances. I'm not mad. He said, you're a madman, for goodness sake. Just go and sit with the other people. At that moment, Behlool said, debate me. If I'm mad, debate me. You're a judge, I'm a madman. Debate me. Let's see who wins the debate. The judge thinking, if I say no, people will make a fool of me. But if I say yes, I might make a fool of myself. That's catch-22 situation. So the judge said, okay, I'll ask you a question, you ask me one. Behlool said, what's the reward? He said, if you answer mine, I'll give you 1,000 dinar. And if I answer yours, you give me 1,000. Behlool said, don't give me 1,000 dinar. Give to the poor 1,000 dinar. Do we agree? He said, yes. Behlool said, you ask the question. So the judge looked at him and he said, the question is this. There's a married couple sitting in their house. And there is a man praying and there's a man fasting. Who is it that walks in, that invalidates their marriage, invalidates the prayers and invalidates the fasts? The married couple in the house. There's a man praying and there's a man fasting. Who is it that walks in that invalidates the marriage, the prayer and the fast? Behlool said, easy. He said, what is it? He said, the lady's original husband. So what do you mean? He said, that lady, her husband, she thought he had died in war. So she decided to get married again. But the husband has just returned and she's just found out that he's actually alive. The people who are praying and fasting is who she hired to pray the salah and the fast which her husband had missed. So now that this husband has returned, that marriage now which she got remarried, that's invalid. The person praying doesn't need to, that's invalid. The person fasting doesn't need to, that's invalid as well. He's looking at him thinking, how did he answer that quickly? As in, do you think the student from the class of the Imam wouldn't answer that quick? Then Behlool said, Judge, come here, let me ask you your question. And the judge said, no, I just want to continue with my food. He said, come here. I want to ask you. He said, what is it? He said, I one day wanted to make a drink. Of what? Of honey and vinegar. The judge said, what do you mean honey and vinegar? He said, I have a jar of honey and I have a jar of vinegar and I wanted to make a drink. So I poured the two together. Then in the drink I saw a mouse moving. I don't know if the mouse is from the jar of honey or the jar of vinegar. Give me the solution. The judge said, I have never heard of a drink in my life of honey and vinegar, and now you're telling me that there is a solution to it. Tell me. And for those of you who want to go deeper, there is actually a discussion about whether this hadith is in Imam al-Kadhim's time, Imam al-Askari's time, but that discussion I'll never lecture on. Don't worry about it. Therefore you find what? You find that he said to him, from where? The judge said, I don't know. Behlool said, easy. He said, what you do is you take the mouse out, then you wash the whole mouse, then you dissect it. If there's a smell of vinegar, it was in the vinegar. Otherwise, it was from the honey. And then he ran away from the judge. The judge looked at him and thought, I've never seen a human being answer in this way. And he ran away. The next group of people Behlool would debate, people from other schools in Islam who were not defending Imam al-Kadhim. Imam al-Kadhim is alone in prison. You would think other schools would defend him, would stand up for him. Other schools were just remaining quiet. The head of the Sufi school at the time, who was he? Junayd al-Baghdadi. Ask any Sufi, who's one of the greatest Sufis? Junayd al-Baghdadi. Junayd al-Baghdadi was walking. His student said, ask Behlool a question, go teach him something. He said, me teach Behlool? Behlool would teach me. I don't know anything compared to Behlool. They said, but you are the Sufi master. Surely you know more than Behlool. He said, no. He said, come with me, I'll show you what Behlool is. He came towards Behlool and said, Behlool, I want you to teach me something. He said, but you're a scholar, I can't teach you. He said, no, just teach me anything. He said, okay, do you know how to talk? He said, yes, I do. He said, do you know how to eat? He said, yes, I do. He said, do you know how to sleep? He said, yes, I do. He said, how do you talk? He said, politely. How do you eat? He said, by saying Bismillah at the beginning. How do you sleep? By doing my wudu before I sleep. He looked at him and he said, I thought you were a scholar. You turned out to be the most ignorant of people. This scholar's thinking, what did I say wrong? I talk politely. I eat and I say Bismillah before I eat. And I go to sleep and I do wudu. What did I do wrong? He said to him, what's the point of talking politely if your talk is backbiting the whole community? You can attack people so politely these days, can't you? And what's the point of eating and saying Bismillah before the food that you're eating is from haram money? Say Bismillah 100 times, it's from haram wealth. And what's the point of going to sleep with wudu if your heart is full of envy against fellow members in the community? Go to sleep, say your wudu, do your wudu. But if your heart is full of envy, what's the point of sleeping like that? He said, now who teaches who? Behlool teaches me or I teach him? And you found that he opened that door, that avenue for that famous debate which all of you have heard when Abu Hanifa and Behlool threw the clay on him. Because Abu Hanifa used to believe in what? He used to believe, number one, all our actions are predestined by God. We have no choice. And that number two, we will see God on the